When they raided Keefe D's shop, and in that raid, they found Keefe D's payout book. And Rodent Rat Jr. name is in it and his phone number as somebody that either owes him money or he had to pay out money. And this is before Tupac got killed. Let that marinate. So if he was getting money with Keefe D, and he's the one that's telling Frank the lie about Orlando tried to snatch Pac chain. If he's the one that's telling you this story about the chain snatching in the Lakewood Mall, these are all alibis, baby. These are all alibis. They came up with and who's the one that disarmed the security? Who testified in the grand jury and brought everybody to the grand jury except for who? Shout out to Michael Carlin. You blew my mind with this one, brother. Uh, but I'm going to do a whole show on it, and I'm going to put it on the screen because I know this information people will be watching and want to take and run with it. But y'all can ask him, am I lying? Let me show y'all something, just so you know that I'm not capping. Just so you know I'm not capping. I'm going to show y'all some of it. Put my logo over this. Niggas get to start stealing, right? You can see investigation of missing narcotics from narcotics vault, November 4th, 1999 is this page, right? right here, you got on February 15th, 1994, Sergeant Newsom completed a 5-page supervisory report about Detective Paez's allegation on theft. Chief Taylor signed off on the report. On March 23rd, 1994, Captain Perrodin reviewed the internal affairs investigation and determined that there was insufficient evidence to substantiate investigative Paez's allegation, and he recommended that the allegation of theft be classified as not sustained. Captain Perrodin, or whatever his name is, also recommended that Sergeant Newsman be issued an official reprimand for neglect of duty in this matter. Chief Taylor signed off on this report as well. On March 23rd, 1994, Chief Taylor issued Sergeant Newsom's an official reprimand, citing that the fact that it was apparent that you were remiss in your supervisory responsibilities and that you did not order Paez to remove all of his property, all his personal property from the narcotics vice office at the time he was transferred from the unit. Furthermore, you should not have removed any items from his desk. October 21st, 1999, in the conference room, Officer Patterson and I interviewed Lieutenant Wright. Sergeant Roller was present, and the observer only, and Detective Branscombe, who is the president of the CPOA, sat in at Lieutenant Wright's request during the interview as his representative. I advised Wright of his AB 301 rights, which he said he understood. He also said he invoked his rights because this was an interrogation and not an interview. He told me that he was going to have to be given an order to talk. I left the room and advised Assistant Chief Anderson, who accompanied me back to the room. He then gave Wright in order to cooperate with the investigation and answer the questions. Lieutenant Wright said he is currently assigned as the night shift watch commander. He said that prior to his current assignment, he was the coordinator of the Investigative Services Bureau and the commanding officer of the special investigation. Lieutenant Wright said he was responsible for 3 parts of the department. He said he was the supervisor over the gang intelligence unit and over the narcotics and the vice unit. He said he had been the supervisor over the gang unit since 1994. Tupac died in 96. And had been over the special investigating units since 1997. When the unit was first formed, he said the officer in charge of the unit was Sergeant Newsman. He said Gilbreth, Arnie Valario, and Pilcher, I'm probably butchering these people's names, all worked for him at some point. He said Valario left at one point, but he came back. He said Mark Anderson worked for him, but Anderson was assigned to the FBI, although he was responsible for answering the narcotics unit. I asked if he knew anything about Paez being the victim of a crime, and he said he heard rumors around the station that Paez had been a victim of a theft while he was in the narcotics unit. But he said he has no intimate knowledge of the incident. He said that, to his knowledge, Valario has never been removed from the narcotics unit for cause. I asked him if he knew the twins, Caesar and Julio Narvetti. He said just before the unit went under his control, Sergeant Newsman had the twin brothers working for him. He said he knew at least one of them because he used to be a security guard at the swap meet. Wright said he knew they were informants because he used to see them going in and out of the narcotics office. Wright said he was not over the narcotics unit when the 3 kilos reverse sting in the Southgate occurred. He said he does not know anything about that. I asked if he was familiar with the 60-kilo seizure from the motorhome, and he said he was because it was a well-known incident throughout the department. Y'all know who 60 kilos that was, right? Okay, let's continue. He said he knew he was not over the narcotics when this occurred. I also asked him about Ray's Kano incident in which 60 kilos of cocaine was seized from a van. He said he is somewhat familiar with the case because it was a joint effort between our agency and the FBI, he said. Mark Anderson was a part of it. I then told him the part of the ledger in which Valerio had written in the remarks section that 60 kilos of cocaine had been released to the FBI. I told Valerio now couldn't remember who told him to release the cocaine. I asked Lieutenant Wright if he told Valerio to release the cocaine, and he said no. During my command, I never got involved in anything as far as making any decisions. Even if something like that came through me, then the chief or the captain, more than likely, the chief would have made that authorization. I'm pretty sure I didn't make that decision to release the cocaine to the FBI. I asked him if that amount of cocaine could have been released without a supervisor knowing about it, and he said it should not have been. However, Wright said that one of the sergeants could have authorized the release and then just told him about it later. He said that while he was the commanding officer over the unit, he was not doing a lot of on hands type of supervision. He said he entrusted a lot of the decisions up to the sergeants before he took over the unit. Sergeants were reporting directly to the chief. He said he left a lot of the day-to-day operations to his sergeants. He said that he was aware of key decisions and he was in the chain of command, but he said he gave the sergeants authority to even bypass him and go directly to the chief or the captain as it relates to narcotics. He said that he said that even so, someone higher than the supervisor of the narcotics unit should have been aware of the fact that the 60 kilos of cocaine had been released to another agency. I then asked him if it would be unusual for a detective, a subordinate, to tell him that someone he doesn't remember told him to release 60 kilos of cocaine to another agency. And Wright told me, I would be concerned about it. Yeah. Well, Lieutenant Wright said he has never had the combination to the vault. He said the Captain Perrinon and the Chief Taylor never had the combination to the vault, and that he is aware of. That they never had a combination to the vault that he's aware of. He said that in-house inventories were done regularly under Sergeant Newsman and Sergeant Baker. He said that Sergeant McConnell is the person who actually organized the vault. He said that there should be some paperwork in regards to the inventories. Lieutenant Wright said he is not aware of any complaints of these thefts, of the thefts against Valerio. He said that unofficially, someone told him that Valerio had at one time experienced some financial difficulties. He said that Valerio never expressed a desire to leave the narcotics unit. He said Valerio never complained to him that he was under a great deal of stress or that he was having any kind of problems and that he might need to see a doctor. Lieutenant Wright said that Valerio and Pilcher did not have concerns with him overseeing the narcotics unit, but that was in regards to another issue. He said that week or two ago, he was in the narcotics office and saw Valerio. He said Valerio told him that he was leaving the unit. Wright said he asked him if he was being pulled out, and Valerio told him he asked to be taken out. Wright said this kind of surprised him because he he thought Valerio was happy. Lieutenant Wright says he does not know Juan Calario. He said that he is not sure if he knows the twin informants personally or not. Lieutenant Wright said at any time more than $100 was spent on an informant, he wanted to know about it beforehand. He said this money normally comes from the buy fund or from petty cash from the sergeant would keep in the narcotics office. Wright said if someone in his unit was paying an informant $500, he would demand that an expend expeditional, I don't know what that word is, like that be pre-authorized by either him or Captain Perenan or Perenin. Officer Patterson asked Wright if he would allow an informant to participate in a raid or carry a gun, and he said no. He said that he would have some concerns about an informant directing an officer to participate in the drug deal without a weapon. Lieutenant Wright said that during his last year over narcotics, he became concerned because he felt he did not know enough about the narcotics unit and wasn't involved enough. He said that Taylor oftentimes chastised him for not getting more involved in the narcotics unit. He said that Jack McConnell was in the process of creating the operations policy. He said if there was anything about narcotics, about the narcotics unit that he could change, he would change accountability of narcotics seizure and booking in the view of this interview. Lieutenant Wright said he had input as to who was assigned to the narcotics unit. He said if an officer had recently filed bankruptcy and was in the unit, he said that he would have some concerns. He said if the officer was not removed from the unit, he would definitely monitor that particular officer. Lieutenant Wright said he knew Ricardo Gross, but he did not know him personally. He said he was told that Ricardo was the informant who gave up the motorhome with the 60 kilos and that he was subsequently killed in a motorcycle accident. How convenient. Lieutenant Wright said he was aware of the narcotic burns and said that once the items have been identified for destruction, an order from a judge was obtained and then the information was forwarded up through the chain of command. He said he never participated in a narcotics burn. He said the sergeants handled the burns. I told Lieutenant Wright that recently we became unaware that some officers assigned to the narcotics unit, while he was the supervisor, that expressed a great deal of concern because he always wanted to know the locations of the search warrants that were served. Lieutenant Wright became extremely upset and said, I never wanted to know where a search warrant was, and I didn't care. Somebody lied to you. Okay, because I never cared about search warrants, and I want this loud and clear on the record. So whatever or whoever told you that is a damn lie. Because I never cared about where they went. I never sat in their briefings of where they were going to go. I didn't want to know until it came to my attention and I participated in this issue that Officer Valario and Pilcher brought up about going out to Alondro in Washington. And the only reason I got concerned is because we were looking for the primary, one of the main guys for a shooting, a 245, and he had guns, and I wanted his ass. I'm going to stop right there. See what I mean? It's deeper than rap. It is deeper than rap. If you think Tupac was killed by a gangbanger because the nigga chain got snatched, and Rodent Rat Jr. is in Keefe D's payout book, but he's over there leading the grand jury for Keefe D. You think Las Vegas Metro Police Department don't know this information? Or do they know this information? And Rodent Rat Jr. is leading their investigation. I'll be back with more. Choke no joke, you know what it is.
Jack Brown, you know what it is. Keep on hating, you know what it is. Never did I think hip-hop go this far. Never did I think I see Diddy behind bars or Kells. Penitentiary scars, the Man Act. Is it going too far? Back, y'all industry rats, y'all whack. That's 100 on Pyro. You'll be trapped like Pac. The go viral, Gene saw the nuts at gyro. At the freak off and Diddy too. But plug shopper, free door stopper. Nigga, you don't know if you a criminal or a cop. But you're next to be locked. Ask Keefe D, telling on yourself on Vlad TV. You dumb nigga, right? You'll never be me. And I never be you too. Telling on YouTube, sitting on the step, giving up myself. What the fuck I look like? My name G-Dap. Comb legacy doom. Will the bad boy see time like loan? Your extortion fell through. You friended no one like the moon. What did you do? Sat back and watch him get groomed. Only badge in the room. You and wifey drunk the juice. Saw the check for Pac life. And his back right. Guess it's bad boy for life. Or should I say same gang? You the same lane. That Diddy let hang. And now he chain gang. Damn, you rocked him, fella. Didn't you? For the mozzarella. Did it for Wolf and his mother, D-Ferg and Kurt Burrow. Nah, nigga, you did it cause your ass ain't thorough. And you ain't from the boroughs. Joke, no joke, you know what it is. This one's for the whole earth, you know. When they get disrespectful, I just go to the booth and kick the truth to the young black youth. Joke, no joke, you know what it is. Keep on hating, you know what it is.
Choke, no joke, yeah. It's choke, no joke. Choke, no joke, chicken, choke, no joke. Choke, no joke, niggas choke, no